Um, I suppose a lot of people who will be tuning in will be interested to hear about England's group, of course, and our thoughts on the England players, because obviously it is one of the younger squads. There's the likes of Jude Bellingham, as I mentioned, Bukayo Saka, Jadon Sancho, Phil Foden, Reece James, Declan Rice, Mason Mount. There's a lot of young players in that squad, and a lot who will probably see considerable minutes on the pitch. So, I mean, I think it's only right that we do discuss the wealth of talent that England have at their disposal this year. It's been quite a while, I think, since England have had such a really really exciting youth crop at a major tournament. There's been a lot of previous tournaments where the teams have been strong, but not necessarily where the strength has been in the youth. I mean, you look at the likes of, Jude Bellingham. I mean, even if he doesn't start many games, even if he doesn't play very many minutes, having that potential, having that ability in your reserves essentially at a major tournament is always going to be appreciated. And at 17 years old is immense. It gives you hope for the future if you're an England supporter. But Phil Foden, Jadon Sancho, very good chances of starting games. Marcus Rashford, likewise. You know, Reece James, if Gareth Southgate decides to experiment on that right hand side. And of course Mason Mount as well, who's been fantastic for Chelsea this year. I mean, what is essentially the question I'm asking, guys, is have you is it too soon? Is it maybe a year or two too soon for England to be really getting to the final, winning a major tournament with this young group?
I mean, potentially. It's all well and good having these young players, but you are placing a significant weight on their shoulders, because this is not Nations League or Euro qualifying when they're going to play some weaker nations. So should we say this is it now? This is the top of maybe apart from the World Cup, this is the top of international football. So I think it's all well and good being excited about these guys, but I think we just kind of need to let them do their thing. I mean, England do have some experience in their ranks. It's easy. In the spine in particular. With Maguire, I'm guessing he will be fit, but even in defence in general, and you've got guys like Henderson in the midfield, and obviously Harry Kane up front, so you can sort of build around that spine. And I think sort of going forward, those spots are up for grabs really, because you look at Raheem Sterling, he's just completely tanked out of form, and he was usually a guaranteed starter under Gareth Southgate. So even Rashford, he's had some injury issues. So there's potential there for example, for Jadon Sancho to come in, even Phil Foden on the left, and obviously there's, like you said, even to have guys like Jude Bellingham on the bench and Bukayo Saka on the bench is pretty absurd, to be honest. It's just such a likable, exciting squad, and actually, my sort of relationship with the English national team has never been too deep. I've never felt that fussed at all by the England national team. It was sort of an Arsenal presence within the team that piqued my interest. But now I'm looking through the squad and I'm just like, these are genuinely likable young guys who I find myself rooting for more and more. Even Mason Mount, like what a season he had. Declan Rice, the same. And my one concern with Southgate is that he doesn't release the shackles enough, and I think this is a team that could really benefit from that if he can just maybe tweak a few things to get a bit more out of the attack. But I think in general, this is a squad that you have to consider one of the strongest.
I don't have too much to add to that, but in terms of should they be competing for this tournament, I think really England are on the clock now. I think there's 5 major tournaments in the next 7 years, and I think it'd be when you see that crop of young players come through. They're not just good players; like these are guys that are top players in Europe already at 21, 22, 19. You got 5 international tournaments in the next, I think, 7 years, 3 Euros and 2 World Cups. And I think if you don't win one of them, it'd be pretty disappointing outcome from the talent of the level of player that you're looking at coming through. Not to mention the fact that you've got, I think, Calvert-Lewin, Chilwell, Grealish, Calvin Phillips, all these guys, I think they're all under 25 as well. So I think it's showtime now. I don't think there's any waiting to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're both very right on that. I think if there wasn't to be one of those tournaments in the next decades that's won by England, I think you have to say that it has been a failure, because obviously the coaching has been implemented. You know, the 2017 the trio of goals essentially, with the under 20 World Cup, the under 17 World Cup, and was it the under 19 Euros, or was it the Toulon tournament? I think, where they did fantastically well. England did. So it's kind of the culmination of that year, and the players coming through, getting regular minutes at their clubs, and now it's Gareth Southgate reaping the rewards. So yeah, it's about it should be on their minds. I think yeah, you've got to put them up there with some of the favourites of this tournament.